Right, here we go. We are on. We were probably on for a few seconds then, but I didn't want to talk right directly into the mic. You know how it is. And I end up really sounding incredibly loud through the mic when I'm that close to it. Anyway, we shall get on with this. Today's topic is... oh, I forgot it already. Something about wisdom and poor resales. I'm going to have to check. Oh, I really wanted to sound cool then and actually know it, but, you know, anyway. Right, here we go. I'm not cool because I can't even remember it. Does wisdom come from being a poor reseller? I have to read it off again. Maybe one day I'll be able to get the title right without reading it off. Right, so we've got Forge Your Own Path in there, Tom. We've got Sibby Sibby Bang Bang, which I absolutely love that name. Hello, finally made it to this one. Finally made it to one. Yeah, you haven't been in for a while, have you, Sib? So, yeah, it's nice to have you in anyway. We've got I Am the Legend, which I don't know whether he's caught one of my streams, but I believe his name is Ash. So, hi there, Ash. We've got Stephen Bennett in there. We've got, who else is in there? Peter Ray, but he says he'll be in at some point. I think he said, rather busy today. Oh, no, rather busy here, so... he must be getting a lot of work done or something today. And then we've got Tap Peddler in there as well. So it looks like we've got a few of the regulars in there. So yeah, anyway, today I wanted to pose the question to you guys. And I also wanted to answer it myself. So wait, what was it again? I'll have to read the question out. So answer the question, right? Basically in the chat, if you're in the chat. Or if you want to, you know, I'm not demanding you answer the question. But does wisdom come from being a poor reseller? So I'll explain a little bit what I mean behind that before, you know, you answer the question, because you might get it slightly skew-whiff, you know, of what I actually mean by it. Oh, skew-whiff. I've not said that in bloody years. Anyway, that's a really good little word, that, skew-whiff. Anyway, so, basically, does wisdom come from being a poor reseller? What I mean by this is I don't mean poor, obviously you'll understand this anyway, but I don't mean poor in the sense of you've not got a lot of money. I mean poor as in the sense of, you know, you're not doing very well at it. So, can wisdom actually come from being a poor reseller? And not only being a poor reseller, but somewhat being consistent at being a poor reseller. So, maybe you've been doing reselling for 6 months or a year, and you still can't quite get into that knack, and you're trying everything you can, but you still can't quite get into that knack, and, you know, you're doing all the same things, or maybe you're doing a few different things, but it's not, you're just not getting into the groove. But can or does wisdom come from that, from being a poor reseller? And can it help you in the future? You know, can it progress you over the period of time to help you become a better reseller? I was thinking about this because I was thinking, well, what if I started reselling and I was taking on board everyone's advice, and, you know, what I was doing is I was going out and I was paying, you know, £10, £15 for an item, and I was selling it for 20 quid, right? So there's not much profit there. There might even be hardly any profit. It might even be just break even if you're buying it for 15 quid. So essentially I was thinking, well, what if you did that consistently and you were trying to get through it, and you're trying to, you know, find things cheaper, or you didn't quite know where to get things cheaper, or, you know, you were in your little comfort zone of what you wanted to pick up, and you only wanted to pick those kind of items up. You know what I mean? You got into a bit of a rut with it, and even though there was people giving you advice, you couldn't quite see through that. You know, you couldn't quite see that advice, and you're constantly picking up these items for 10 or, you know, 10, 15 pound and selling them for 20 quid. And you really want to be a good reseller. You've got that stuck in your mind. You really want, you know, you're almost stubborn with it. You're like, I really want to do this. I want to continue doing this, but I know something's not right. And you're constantly doing that. Can wisdom actually formulate out of that? I kind of have my own answer, but I want to pose the question to you guys in the chat first off. I'm sure some of you might think probably not at all. They're completely doing it the wrong way. They need to completely restructure what they do, etc. But here's the question. Restructuring what they do, is that then wisdom that has then come out of doing it poorly? You see? Hey, up here for thinking, down there for dancing. Oh, I love that. I love that little saying. Anyway, we'll have a look. Amazon is booming. This is crazy. Anyone else? Amazon the same. Oh, did you get those shipments sorted, Sean? You know those shipments you had that were lost or something. I think you said, did you say that they were alright? I don't know. But yeah, hopefully they're alright. Anyway, it's I've not really seen much activity on Amazon, because what I've done is I've done it the same for like the last 2 years. Is I price things high and then everything gets picked off, you know, early December, because I'm well aware of how the game works. You send up a board game right now, right? Let's say it's a board game that isn't in production anymore, but it's a brand new and sealed board game, right? So Amazon aren't selling it themselves. Great example that I've sold and I've used many times is the Friends Seen It, right? And I just like to go to that example because it's a perfect example for what I'm saying. I know it gets a bit old that I'm saying that all the time, but you got that Friends Seen It anyway, brand new and sealed, not obsolete board game, but isn't necessarily in production. At least I don't think it's in production anymore. Anyway, Amazon don't sell it. And then what happens is, people will send it up, you know, October, November, you know, oh great, I'll send it up, get some money for it. And we might get 50, 60 quid for it, brand new and sealed, maybe a bit more in October, November. But I know how to play the game, right? I know what eBay is, what Amazon is, and what Q4 is. Q4 is just a massive pump. It's like in the stock market when you have a massive pump, you know, on a stock or something. That's what Q4 is on Amazon. So I'm well aware that in December, yeah, you might be able to get 50, 60 in, you know, October, November, but I'm betting you, because I've done this, I don't even need to bet you because I've done it, but, you know, in December, you know, early December, mid-December, prices skyrocket, more and more third-party sellers get picked off, yours is then left there at 100 quid, 120 quid, and then yours gets picked off finally, and you've got you've maybe doubled the amount of money that you could have had, you see. It's all a numbers game with eBay, Amazon, stocks, cryptocurrency, whatever it is. These things, all these different markets are pretty much exactly the same. It's just the way you access them you access them in different ways, essentially. So, you know, you might not be able to actually look at eBay as you would, you know, a stock on a chart, but you can actually chart it, and you can actually, you know, understand price history and things like that to understand what the market is doing, as if you are looking at a chart in some respect. So yeah, I just play the game. It's all a game to me. Like, obviously, you know, eBay and Amazon and, you know, all these different markets, it's just one big game to me, and I like to see how we play out and so. And I've mentioned this before, you know, I like to play these kind of things like a chess game, you know, because it's very interesting to see how we play out. And of course, sometimes you fail, sometimes you get it right. That's how the game works, you know. There's winners and there's losers, essentially. But essentially, if you keep going and keep progressing and keep moving forward, you're going to eventually turn into a winner, and you're going to be able to consistently learn how to win. So all these different losses that you've had in the past give you the knowledge to be able to actually win. And that leads nicely back onto the subject, actually. So, we've got Sparrow's End in there, hi there. We've got Stephen in there, hi there. We've got Jasmine in there, hi there. We've got Darren in there. Hi Ed, how are you, mate? I'm good. I'm kind of in the middle. I mean, I don't want to really go into this too much because it's not completely reselling, but I thought I will just touch on this. I am, you know, at the moment I'm kind of looking into a lot of religious and spiritual things, and I mentioned this a while back in Thursday Talks as well. And I've been having, and I want to kind of talk about this because it's something that I kind of feel like I need to document. So I'm not going to go into it majorly, but all I'll say is, like, I've been looking into religious, you know, different things with religion and different things with spirituality. And at the moment, I've been in this period for, well, maybe the last 4 or 5 months, while I've been feeling misdirected with eBay. The reason I've been feeling misdirected with eBay and Amazon is because I've been going through this experience. I don't want to call it a journey, because it's not necessarily a journey, but this experience of learning about different meanings of life and philosophical viewpoints and stuff like that. And to be honest, like, I could say to you, you know, I'm doing brilliantly, because some days I am doing brilliantly, but then other days I'm feeling a little bit down, I'm feeling a little bit sluggish, because what you find is when you start looking into different religious viewpoints and when you start learning about the meaning of life or philosophy, it can disrupt your kind of ability to function normally, because you automatically go into this sort of hole of, oh my god, I've got to find out what this is and what that is, and all these different questions that you have, and it leads you to new different areas. So therefore, some days I'm feeling really, really good because I've got questions answered. I'm happy. I feel like I've got some direction back. And then other days I'll feel like yesterday was one of these days. I was trying to answer all these questions that I had about certain, religions and stuff. And it then, it makes you feel down, because it makes you think like, oh, I don't know, if I've answered this question, then that means that this doesn't have particularly much meaning or much point to it. Therefore, why should I do this thing? Like right now, Thursday Talks, what my current viewpoint is that essentially this doesn't matter. Thursday Talks doesn't matter. So then it's hard for me to actually come on here and do it. But then again, you've got to realise that I get a lot of enjoyment out of Thursday Talks, and I'm sure you guys do as well. So therefore, you can then replace the fact that it's pointless with the fact that actually you enjoy it. So therefore, the point is that you enjoy it, and you are here to experience it. So therefore, you can lead on to another set of questions in that respect. So yeah, but that's the honest answer of, how I'm doing and what I'm thinking about and my purpose or my direction in life at the moment. But yeah, so I just wanted to touch on that. I didn't want to dive really deep into it, because I know it's not really the show for it, but at the same time, I do like to document what I'm kind of going through a little bit, as well as my reselling. So we'll go down anyway. Anyways, anyone answered that question? There we go. Sibby bang bang. Wisdom comes from accepting you will make a mistake and your willingness to learn from it. To learn from them. So yeah, I suppose in that way, if someone is consistently being a poor reseller, let's say, or consistently being poor, then they're not gonna essentially learn from them mistakes, because they're consistently doing it. So so I suppose wisdom can come from being a poor reseller, but you have to transition between from being a poor reseller to then being a good reseller, and the wisdom comes from that transition, once you've transitioned into becoming a better reseller. And essentially, there isn't any quantifiable means to say what is a better reseller or what is a good reseller opposed to what is maybe a poorer reseller. But essentially, if you can identify what you feel is a poor reseller and what you feel is a good reseller, and then transition yourself without any judgment from anyone else, and just focus on your own personal development with that, and then you come to a place where you think, yes, I'm at that point of realization that I am a good reseller, I've got through these issues, I'm no longer buying things for £10 or £15 to make £20, but over time and through a lot of work and effort, I've started to bring that down, and I'm buying things for maybe between £2 and £5 to make £20, something like that. Now, of course, that's just going off the judgment that a good reseller is based on you being able to pick up items at a certain profit margin or a certain price. There is a lot more to it than that, but that was just a sort of base level of example. Someone who picks things up for a lot more money might be a little bit more inexperienced than someone who picks them up for less money, because the person who's picked them up for less money is well aware that they need to make more money per item. So yeah. Anyway, where are we? Andrea Hills, yes, I've learnt that purpose is often the small quiet things that seem like they don't matter, but matter more than the bigger things. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like, some big things in life, you feel like they matter massively, but they don't actually. They're not as big as the smaller things. Like, the everyday smaller things seem to give you more direction and seem to give you more passion and more happiness than some of these big events in life that you might spend a while thinking about, thinking that this is going to be brilliant, and it never actually comes that way. I would agree with you in that. So then, where are we? We'll have a look again. I'll see if anyone's answered that question again, because I don't think anyone has, but anyway, it's alright if you haven't. How easy is it making a YouTube channel with basic kit to start. Very, very easy. Just go on YouTube, you know. I'm not going to give you the blueprint to actually set up a channel. I'm sure you know how to do that. But go on YouTube, create a channel, get, you know, where's my phone? Get my phone. I don't even know why I was looking for it. I knew it was in my pocket. But, yeah, get your phone here. And then just set it up on a little, where, have I got one around here? Oh, I've got one here. Here we go. I'll show you this, because these are good. Let me just flip back onto me so I know where I am in the frame. Right, there we go. So, these are really good. It's just a little stand. Now, what you do is you need a little device. Have I got one in here? I don't know where it is. You have a little device that hooks on the end. And essentially, it's like a little spring. It's like a spring-loaded little clip that basically you can clip your phone into, and then you hold, you know, you tripod this out, and then you literally just start filming, and that's fine as long as you've got your lighting right. To be honest, phones are brilliant. I mean, people spend so much money. Like well, I didn't spend it. I got it for my birthday actually, but that there, which is Canon G7X, and yes, I do know that the lens cap is gone because I broke it. But anyway, see. That's how well I take care of my items. And you can probably see somewhere there's scratching on it and stuff. I don't know. Maybe you can't see that, but essentially. Oh, and also the Wi-Fi doesn't work. And the only thing I don't like about Canon G7X is, I think this is a Mark II, is the fact that I've tried plugging it in directly with a wired connection, and I can't seem to get my photos to transfer. So I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that anyway, or my videos even. But essentially, that's a £500 camera, or it was when I got it. And yeah, I used it for a while. You know, I think it wasn't this year, was it? It was last year actually. I'm like, yeah, it must have been last year I got that. Anyway. You know, it's £500 camera. I used it for a while. You know, it was fairly decent, I have to say. The audio and stuff was decent. But to be honest, a phone is really good now. You know, a lot of the phone cameras are brilliant. So you just grab a phone, grab that little device thing. You get them for £1 on eBay, like maybe £2. You just get them, stand it up, you know, get a nice bit of lighting going, you know, and then just talk to the camera and say, yeah, this is what I picked up. And then, you know, see, what I've done is I've taken it to an extreme, because what I like to do is I like to be better than other people. Like, that's me just being frank. I like to be better. I like to take it to the top level. Like, I don't know any other reseller on YouTube. Now, you can call me out on this, right? You can call me out on this. I might just be being a bit egotistical and stuff like I always am. But essentially, I don't know any other reseller, whether it's American, whether it's UK, whatever country, I don't know any other reseller that has used a green screen on their videos. I don't really know any other reseller who can do, you know, has done songs on YouTube. Now, yeah, okay, maybe that's, you know, they're not brilliant, but to be honest, I've put it all together myself. You know, I know how to do that myself. If someone has put together something like that to that sort of standard, which is a half decent standard, then they've probably got help doing it. So I've kind of transitioned to the green screen and the mic and all that, just to basically better myself than everyone else. So then I'm on this kind of high level, because I like that. I like feeling that and I'm being very, very honest here. I like feeling like I'm this above level. It's kind of this, I really do think I've got some sort of, oh, what is it, megalomania or something like that. I don't know. But I think I've got something inside my brain like that makes me want to do that, you know, makes me want to increase myself. I never do, I kind of do this for myself, but if I say I'm doing it for myself, I'd kind of be a little bit dishonest with myself, because I don't do it directly for myself. You know, one reason I do the green screen and stuff is for in years to come for me to look back on it, but that's not necessarily doing it for myself, that's just doing it for me to have a little bit of a laugh and look back on it. But also, the other reason I do the green screen and try and better myself is so that then I can say to my kids and my grandkids, if I have kids and grandkids, oh, look at how great your granddad was at doing all this stuff, you know? See what I mean? Again, egotistical things coming through. But yeah, so, you know, you don't need all this. I think I've actually taken it too far as well, actually getting back to the point that I wanted to start on. The reason, you know, like, the green screen and everything is just too far. People don't need to see the green screen like on haul videos. People don't need to see really good mics or anything like that, or this little banner thing. It's pointless. It's all like, it's just too far. It's just too, for what we do on YouTube as resellers, it's just too much. You don't need it. I just have ascended to that point in one respect because I wanted to learn about editing and the rest of it. Anyway, we'll get on with the chat now. Sorry, I get rambly when I'm talking about YouTube. Let's see how much hate there is in the chat. Oh my god, he's ascended above people and shit. Anyway, yeah, anyway. That'll be funny. Let's see what people say. Like, oh, you're such a bloody bad word. I was going to say it then, but I'm not going to say it. Right then, ads for world president. No, I don't need to do this. Oh, pretty much people are taking it as a joke. That's okay. That's okay. See, literally, I could just say anything on it. People just take it as a joke. Like, am I that like? Have I grown into this person on, and resell in the reselling community as this person who's just the comedian who people don't take seriously anyway? So I could just say what I like, because I'd quite like that. You know, if people just took me as complete comedy, so that then I can literally, of course, within reason, no racism and all the rest of it, but you know what I mean, like, that would be the kind of person I'd like to manifest myself into. You're someone who, you just say, like, these weird, crazy things, and people just laugh at it, because they don't know if I'm being truthful or if I'm not, I suppose. And sometimes I don't even know whether I'm being truthful or not. Sometimes I just literally, like, ideas will come to me and things will come to me, and I just, like, pass them on. I don't like, it's very hard to describe. I don't, keep them here. I just think, right, that's my ideas. I'll give it a quick little filter to think, right, is there anything bad in there that I literally cannot say, which is terrible, that will offend people? And then I'll cut that bit out and then put onto you guys, whatever. So, yeah, maybe I'm just this comedic person who essentially just goes through life not being wanted to take seriously in some respect. I don't know. Anyway, what is this? A philosophical debate? I don't know. Oh, God. I'm not gonna piss on your cornflake. What is going on in the chat? My God. Right. Okay. Right. Here we go. Where are we? Super ads powers goes into charity shop and comes out super ads. Oh my God. Right. Where are we up the chat? Steve's in there. Hi, Steve. Death by Glamour's in there, I don't know whether I said. Then again, January, it seems like a lot of chat. It doesn't look like there's any questions in there. You're my reselling guru, ads. I am not a guru, don't tell me that. Bloody hell, I've not got the, I don't want the control level of a guru. That's just, ooh, no. No, you know what you can think of me as, right? We had one of them court jesters, like back in like 1600s, 1500s. What would it be like? Yeah, like Henry VIII sort of time, right? Imagine there's a court jester and they come in and they're basically, they have to make up something good because they're going to get killed if they don't make something good up. And they're trying to entertain people. Essentially, that's who I am. That's like what I try and do. I create ideas. And I think to myself, oh my God, if I do that, they're going to kill me. So I'll scratch the idea and then just basically do it in another way. That's the person I am. Like this weird, crazy, comedic figure that is in no way a guru, is in no way trying to tell people exactly how it should be done, but also is someone who does have their own quite powerful viewpoints that sometimes I can get a little bit overzealous on, and maybe it feels like I'm pushing it on people a little bit, but that's just kind of me a little bit. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm getting to a point. I think I'm starting to get to a point where I can accept part of who I am, It's very, because right now, I don't know whether you're aware, you're probably not aware, because you're probably thinking, oh, this is just him going off on a weird rant. But inside my mind, my brain is working on philosophy and thinking about all the things I've learned over the past few months on this kind of experience that I've been having, and it's trying to piece together how I can be in the world right now, having experiencing it right now, you know, on Thursday Talks, experiencing the world right now. So if I can do that in a practical sense, then I can actually, all the little dots connect together, and then I can think, boom, 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 we have a winner, and then the jackpot little thing, you know, you pull the jackpot thing down, and then all the money spills out, and you're like, yes, I've done it, you know, I've done it. And then you realise that you've got all the money from the jackpot, and you don't actually need the money because you've found out who you are, you see? Hey, so up here for dancing, up here for thinking, down there for dancing. Yes! I love it. Anyway, question, Sean Gilbert. I just registered a limited company. Oh, did you? What extra benefits do I claim or get? I know you can claim 20% cheaper electric. I'm not going to answer that because I'm sorry, Sean, I don't have a clue. The only thing I know about a limited company is that you do not have any unlimited liability anymore because you've transferred over to limited liability. So, for example, if you are an unlimited liability company, if you're a sole trader like me, and my business was to get, you know, bigger, and then, you know, for some reason I got into debt with the business or whatever, and I got into a lot of debt, then they would basically like repossess items that I own to pay for the debt. Now, limited liability is different in the sense that you are a separate entity from the business. So right now in my business as a sole trader, unlimited liability, myself is the business. We are the same entity essentially, in one way. I mean, we're not like the same entity physically, but you know what I mean? Like, we're classed as the same entity. So with legal stuff, it makes my brain go like this. Anyway, so what was I thinking? Right, so I just lost my point. But essentially, when you're limited, you don't need, you know, basically, oh yeah, that's it. So the business and you are two separate things. So it means that you can separate yourself from the business's debt. Now, I don't know how it works when the business gets in debt and then obviously you can't pay that debt. I'm assuming that the business somehow gets dissolved or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not a tax guy on that. I'm not a legal guy on that. But it means that you're separate. So if the business were to get into a lot of debt, in my understanding of it, essentially you wouldn't have to repossess your house or car if you're a limited company to pay for that debt, to pay for the business's debt. But as I say, I don't know how that debt would get cleared or paid off. Because if the whoever it would be, if the government, let's say, were to repossess items that the business, the limited company, the actual business owned, so assets, you know, fixed assets, cars, buildings, etc. If they were to repossess them, but the debt hadn't been paid off, they wouldn't be able to repossess your own personal car or house. So where would that money come from, you know, to make up the shortfall? How would that debt just be cleared, or maybe would that debt, I don't know, get passed? Well, it wouldn't be able to get passed on because the business would be gone. So I suppose the business, it would just have to be cleared, right? The debt, you know, the shortfall. But that's an interesting question. I need to look into that. But I'm not a tax guy, you know. Oh yeah, I've always wanted to use this line. I've used it a couple of times actually. This is not financial advice. There we go. Disclaimer, this is not financial advice. I love that. Oh, brilliant. Anyway, it doesn't get paid off as the company is insolvent. Ah, there we go. It's insolvent. I knew it was something like that. I said dissolved, but I knew it was something along those lines. So essentially, the company is just like closed and that's it, and then the debt doesn't get paid off. But that's. Oh. We need to make a new system. You need to make a new system for that, because, I mean, okay, yeah, I might be playing the devil's advocate here, saying, oh, well, the debt's not being paid off, etc., and it should be paid off. But come on, that if we're speaking logically here, that debt should get paid off somehow, and limited liability makes it so that then that debt isn't paid off anymore. So therefore, it should actually be that limited liability has a little bit of a different definition, so that then that debt could get paid off with maybe some personal assets or something. But then again, that's unlimited liability, so maybe not. Oh God, I don't know. This is a battle of morals now, because I'm thinking, well, morally, in terms of actually paying off the debt, you know, playing devil's advocate, really, it should be done in a different way. But also on the other moral side, because there's two moral sides, the moral side in terms of being human and being, you know, being quite kind and considerate and stuff, on that moral side, it's actually brilliant because no one's ended up paying off the debt. So actually it is kind of moral. But on the moral side of actually that debt being paid off, that's not right. Anyway, I'm just going too far into it, aren't I? I just have to look too far into things. Anyway, we'll get up the chat again. Oh, we've got Peter Way in there. He's probably been in there for a while, sorry. On another note, now my PC is back, all good. I can edit and upload my first out of 3 vlogs tomorrow from another walk around my local area I did on Saturday. Oh no, like 4 Saturdays ago, wow. So what happened to your PC, Peter? Did it get like, did it blow up or something? Right, so we've got, definitely going to say, ads, you're just a legend, full stop. Well, thank you very much, but I'm trying not to tickle my ego at the minute, so I don't, anyway. We love you, ads, we've got to know you. Yeah, I suppose, I mean, if people can't, like, this is what worries me, like, if ever I got bigger on YouTube, like, I'm meaning, like, even just bigger so far as, like, 10k subs or something, or 20k subs, it makes me fear that those new people, and I know it won't happen like really fast, but I mean if it did happen really fast and everyone came on board, people just wouldn't get like what I'm about, you know, people wouldn't get kind of who I am and how quirky I can be and how eccentric I can be, and then that might make them like, I don't want to say hate me, but they might, you know, I suppose dislike me with a passion, or they might not necessarily like the channel or take me seriously in any way. Not that I really want people to take me seriously, but, you know, on the sales updates and stuff, I want there to be a level of seriousness that people take with me on the sales updates, because I do kind of know what I'm doing with reselling and with selling and stuff, you know, with actually selling items and stuff. And I kind of prove that week on week when I'm doing my sales updates. But, yeah, so it does, like, because this is a problem with my channel, is it's got two sides to it. It's got this kind of weird eccentric side to it, and maybe some would maybe just dash a little bit of comedy. Maybe they may say it's a little bit comedic. If you like, I mean, I'm not saying it's comedic, but if you want to dash a little bit of comedy in it, brilliant. But you got this, like, eccentric, wacky, maybe even a bit comedic side of the channel. And then you've got this other side of the channel where I try and be a little bit more serious, and I try and be, you know, you could even kind of say a bit more mainstream with the way I present. But they're two conflicting, not necessarily ideologies, but they're two conflicting viewpoints. They're two conflicting personality types, maybe. So it's weird. I think maybe I need to stretch that over the channel, like maybe do all eccentric content or no eccentric content. But I've pondered this for a while, but then I thought, well, actually, isn't the balance between seriousness on the sales updates and eccentricity on Thursday Talks, isn't that what people like, actually? Like, it makes you think, doesn't it? It's like, is that what people like, you know? And I don't need you to answer that question for me. I honestly think that that is what people like. So then you start thinking to yourself, well, actually, I don't need to improve this or improve that. I just literally need to, you know, do more of that or do more of the same. So, yeah, but, you know, there's this yearning in me to make my channel into a uniform, you know, a uniform platform where everything is a certain style of video. Like, you know, as I say, everything's eccentric or everything's serious. But I think that I'd be doing myself a disjustice. Is that the right word? Disjustice? Disservice? Disjustice. We're going to go with disjustice. Injustice. That's it. I got it. Right, injustice. I'd be doing myself an injustice if I did one or the other. You know, if I said it's all serious or it's all, you know, it's all eccentric. So yeah, I think I just need to do more of the same. So you know what? That literally got us nowhere. That literally got us nowhere. We're just doing all the same. We're doing all the same. Anyway, right, I'll go up the chat again. I'm sorry, I'm not really in the chat much today. I'm literally like really far up the chat as well, so I'm trying to get to see what people have said further up the chat. Ads is having an awakening. Yes, very true. That's exactly what I'm going through at the moment. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to get to enlightenment. Don't mistake it for that. I'm not. I don't really. The problem with enlightenment is the more you try and attain it, the further away it gets, because you can't. Essentially, if you desire to reach enlightenment, you can't get to enlightenment because you desire. And enlightenment, you can't get to enlightenment by desiring, through desiring. So, if you're desiring to get to enlightenment, there's no way to get to it. So, I don't desire to get to enlightenment. I don't want to get to enlightenment. I just want to be an awake being of the universe or of the world. You know, that's the state I want to get to, and that's what I've been going through over the last 5 months, and 4 or 5 months anyway. I don't have the exact date. I don't know when it started, by the way. I could probably check, but I don't know. You know, I could probably like look into it, but I think on something like that, it doesn't matter. You know, you don't need to know the date because that's just pointless. But anyway, so yeah, I think it's important for me to do that because otherwise you're going through life with a half-completed philosophy of how you want to live. And if you take some time to be able to realize some sort of philosophy, you know, take in all this different information from various sources and realize some sort of philosophy that you want to live by, then you can go forward in your endeavors with the most amount of energy and most amount of passion that you could possibly muster for those specific endeavors. So whether it be, you know, whether it be more eBay stuff, whether it be comedy, whether it be whatever it may be, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I would quite like to do motivational speaking one day. I think I'd be half good at that. But, you know, I don't know. That might be something further down the road. But, you know, I mean, I'd love to do a part in Doctor Who. We all know that. I'd love to do a bit of acting or do something like that. So, you know, all these different endeavours, you can go forward in them, you know, fully ready to experience them because your philosophy, your mindset is completely where you want it to be. You've looked at this information and you've taken the parts that you want from all these different sources and created this, you know, ideology for yourself, essentially. I'm not going to say ads ideology because then I'm just playing up to my ego. But I had to, well, I've already said it now anyway, but anyway. So, see what I mean? Playing up to my ego again. Anyway, so, yeah, it's important for me to do that because then I can go forward in all my endeavours and be very 100% accurate and focused in what I'm doing. I don't know whether you guys want to do some sort of experience, a spiritual experience or philosophical experience at some point in your life, but all I would say is make sure you're ready for it. You know, make sure if you do it, you're ready for it because it is like, it's something that's challenging. It really is something that's challenging. Not only is it mentally challenging, but it's, well, yeah, I suppose it's just mentally challenging, but there's two sides to it. There's a spiritual mentality, and then there's an intellectual mentality. So you have this, like, spiritual mentality that you're trying to get through spiritual problems, and you're trying to do it without intellect. You're not trying to use your intelligence to get the answers to the spiritual questions. So you have to start to be very quiet and learn by doing things and experiencing things. And then there's an intellectual kind of, you know, mentality with it, where you're trying to intellectually, you know, find what you want to do, what you feel is right with these different religions or with these different ideologies, and you're starting to pick them apart more intellectually. So both of those things combined take a massive toll on your mind, and you start thinking, you know, you sometimes let emotions override you, and sometimes you're down, and sometimes you're up, and sometimes you're very confused and misdirected, and yeah, you've just got to be ready for it. And I don't think I was particularly ready for it. It just came, you know, it just came to me. It just happened. It was just one of those things that I realised I've got to look into this. I've got to experience this more. But yeah, we're looking for chat anyway. I'm going to go down to the bottom because I think it was just chat up there. I didn't see any more questions. Right, we've just gone past that. Ads for Prime Minister. I'm not going to be the Prime Minister. I wouldn't like the... I've told you, I wouldn't like the control. I wouldn't like the control. Hi, ads, all you lovely people. Hi there, Sue. It's nice to see you in the chat there. I hate... Oh, someone said... what is that? Sue's in the chat, Sue Arian. We've got Z in the chat. Just be yourself, ads. If you're feeling eccentric, weird, just be. If you want to be serious, be serious. It's hard, though, isn't it? Because I sometimes I feel to myself like... when I am eccentric on here, I feel like I'm doing a disservice, and we're going to use disservice this time and not disjustice. So I sometimes feel like I'm doing you guys a disservice because I'm being very odd, eccentric or weird, even though I feel inside myself I need to be that in some respect. I feel like I'm doing you guys a disservice because you've come here with some expectation of getting some knowledge as well at the same time. You know, yes, you may come here for entertainment or for my own personality, but at the same time you want a little bit of knowledge because everyone wants a little bit of knowledge, you know, to advance themselves personally and stuff like that. Anyway, we shall look in the chat. Word shorty. You can't be the Court Jester and then want to be saying, I know, Tom, I know, I want two separate things. Anyway, yeah, no, but right, imagine if you were a Court Jester and you were saying so. It's like, imagine the Court Jester walks up, right, and there's like, you know, and he's done his bit for the Queen or the King or whatever. And then he's just like, he goes out, you know, he smokes a fag or whatever. I don't know why he's smoking a fag in the 15th century, but anyway, it just came to me. So he's smoking a fag and, you know, you know, a king goes outside and stuff. And then they start talking about politics, or they start talking about, well, would the king talk about politics? I don't know. Anyway, so, you know, we start talking about politics, or we start talking about current affairs, or maybe even if the stock market existed back then, but I think it was about 100 years too early. But yeah, you know, we start talking about all that, and they do take each other seriously, right? Because the king realises that that jester was just playing an act for him, and outside of that act, they are a completely different entity or a different person. Therefore, it is possible to be taken seriously, to take a comedian seriously, or to take someone who is a jester seriously. You know, you think that, you know, I wouldn't say this is the best reference, but, well, no, here's a better reference, right? Jim Carrey, right? He's a very, very good comedian, very good physical comedian, etc. Or, no, here's a better reference. Well, Jim Carrey or Rowan Atkinson, right? They're two of my, who I would say are my, people that I like, what do you call it? Not icons. Or what do you call it? What are they called? You know, people inspire, no, not inspirers. What's the word? Two of the people I kind of look to, I think they're pretty cool. Especially Jim Carrey, he's kind of like, he's really cool. Like, in all he does and everything, I really do get what he's trying to do and stuff. I really do feel like I connect quite well to him. But essentially, like, you know, him, he'll sit down and then, yeah, okay, he might be taken completely unseriously for a lot of the time, but then he'll develop, you know, he'll do a really, really good speech that is very, very thought-provoking, and he'll be taken quite seriously within that speech as well as with comedy. So, I think you can be, but it's this very, very fine line you have to walk between, you know, being serious at some points and being comedic at others. You know, it's like motivational speakers do. They add little jokes in there. I'm sure as the here will, you know about this, you know, with Jim Rohn and stuff like that. You know, they add just little subtle jokes in there, but you still take them very, very seriously, even though they made you laugh a little bit with those subtle jokes. So, yeah, I think it is a very fine line, but if you could somehow do the two in parallel with each other, and let people take you seriously, and also let people, you know, have a little bit of a laugh with you, that would be that'd be a very good place to be. You know, that'd be a very natural, flowing way of how you can communicate with people, because you're not trying to be terribly eccentric, or you're not trying to really push that comedy on people, but at the same time you're not really trying to push that seriousness. You're actually using the two in conjunction together to be able to flow a natural conversation and get your point across in a much more human way. And we've seen this loads of times. Like, I could reel off, you know, tens or hundreds of names, literally. Well, if I did a bit of research, of course, I wouldn't be able to reel off hundreds right now. But I could certainly reel off about 10, 20 now, of people who have done this, you know, who have actually got to this point, you know. But essentially with me, it's going to be, I think, if anything, it would probably be more of a Jim Carrey, Robin Williams kind of, you know, jokey seriousness, where the jokiness is very, very expressive and quite powerful, and the seriousness is kind of just buried underneath kind of thing. Because obviously we all know Robin Williams was a very intelligent man. He'd suffered with depression and stuff, and, you know, sadly he took his own life. But, you know, he was very, in his background, he was an intelligent man, and he knew quite a lot about the world and about, you know, various different things. And I think even philosophy and stuff like that, I think he looked into that as well. But yeah, so it's kind of, that would be my kind of area, let's say, if you could categorize it. I don't really want to categorize it, but that would be like my area where I would essentially, you know, flow to the most, you know, or relate to the most. I'm not saying I'm as good as them, no way near, but I'm just saying if there was an area to flow to, it would be that sort of area, you know. Anyway, I'll look in the chat. Oh my god, what is today? It's a bloody shambles, isn't it, this? We'll have a question in a minute, a reselling question. Then beep. A party political broadcast from Ads Towers. Oh, do you remember? I can't believe you remember that, Peter, right? Is that just coincidence, or did you actually remember that little segment I did from Thursday Talks? Because on like the second or third episode of Thursday Talks, I did, at the start of the video, I did, this is a party political broadcast. And then I said, only joking, guys, let's have some fun or something. That's brilliant. If you remembered that, that'd be incredible, you know, but... They're here, exactly right. Whatever you want to be, just be it, I suppose. So, most comedians... Oh, great. Most comedians are also tax avoiders and pay 5%. Oh, yeah, Jimmy Carr. Remember that one with Jimmy Carr where he was doing tax avoidance or tax evasion. Tax avoidance is the one that is less severe than tax evasion, right? I think that's right, but I'm not a tax avoider, so I don't know, you see. Yeah. No, see, I would never do that. I don't have a problem with paying my taxes. Everyone who formulates problems with... And again, this is what like Jim Rohn says and stuff. People formulate these problems about the things that are already just, you know, there. They're just things, essentially. And people turn them into problems, and then they end up snowballing them, and it makes... They make this big deal out of it, and it means that they can't push forward. They can't go through in, you know, actually advance in what they want to do, you know. So, I don't really, you know, I don't have a problem with tax. Do I think it's a little bit too high? Maybe, but, you know, I don't mind, you know. I know there's other countries that are pay way less tax than us. I mean, yeah, okay, when we get to the higher tax bracket, it might be a little, some people could say it's a little bit too high, but at the same time, if you get to the higher tax bracket, the probability is you're earning way above the high tax bracket anyway, and that amount of tax, you know, for example, footballers and stuff, maybe they're earning millions of pounds a year. Well, that higher tax bracket of 50%, yeah, okay, it's going to shave a lot of their income off, but they're still getting a lot of income. The people I would say I feel for, if you want to say feel for, is the people who earn just above that bracket, you know, like just above the sort of 50% bracket, or maybe even that 40% bracket, and then it's like hardly worth it for them. You know, you may as well just like, I'm sure there must be a way around that in terms of not avoiding tax, I meaning try to lower it below the tax. So I suppose you are avoiding tax, but you're not doing it in, I'm pretty sure that's not illegal to do that. I'm pretty sure you can, like, you know, maybe you could lower your income or something. But I suppose only if you're self-employed, because you could only like rein your income back a little bit if you're self-employed. If you're employed, I wonder if this happens. Like, people who are employed, let's say they're earning just over, let's say, the 40% bracket of tax, could they ask their employers to lower it just below that 40% bracket because it's more worth it to them financially to earn that little bit less but end up earning more anyway because they're only paying the 20% rather than the 40%? Do you reckon that's like, is that illegal, or is that something that would happen? I don't know. It's interesting, that though, isn't it? I was thinking, I mean, for a self-employed person, if they were to get to a level where, like VAT, for example, we hear this all the time. People say, well, I'm not going to go over VAT. So they just, they don't do as much. Like, maybe they can see they're getting close to VAT, so they think, right, I'm maybe going to rein in the selling a bit so I don't have to just go over that VAT and get stung that way kind of thing. Because if you're going to go over VAT, and this is only going off what I've heard from other people, so I can only do sort of anecdotal evidence at best, but if you're going to go over VAT, I've heard that it's probably best to go a fair bit over it rather than just a little bit over it. But then again, you could say that, yeah, okay, this year I might only just go a little bit above it, but next year I'm going to work really damn hard and, I'll get way above it next year anyway to make it worth it. So, there's all different ways of looking at it, really. But I don't know. Someone in the chat might prove me wrong on that thing about, the tax bracket thing, whether you can do that or not. But I'm sure people do it anyway. Ads, you will only pay 40% on anything you earn above the threshold, not on your whole income. Oh, yeah. You will only pay 40% on anything above the threshold, not on your whole income. Anything. Oh, so... Wait, so if you've got, like, wait, I don't get that. So if you've got, like, if you hit, like, is it 35 grand? Am I right in saying it's, like, 35 grand, that 40% bracket? Or is it 40 or something? I mean, it was 35 grand ages ago. So you'd pay 40% on anything above that. So what would you pay on the 0 to 35 grand then? Would you essentially pay, like, 20%? Yeah, would you pay 20%? Or would you pay... Because you wouldn't pay nothing, would you? You'd get your 11,500 or something now? You'd get that knocked off, wouldn't you? Your personal allowance. And then, what would you pay on that extra, what, 20 grand? 24 grand or something? That's really... You pay 35% tax. Let's see. You pay 35% tax once you go over 50,000 next April. I think they announced it in latest budget. Oh, that seems a bit better then, actually, because I mean, I might be going off slightly old figures here, like slightly outdated, but I remember it was like, what does that say there? 11 to 45k is that? Yeah, 45k is 20%. Anything over 45 is 45%. Ah, see, I'm going off old figures, you see, because I was thinking it was 40 grand that was 40%, is it? Over 40 no, sorry, 35 grand is over 40, yeah, over 35 grand is 40%, and then over, what was it? No, well, anything over your personal allowance between, up to 35 grand is the normal 20%. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, tax is 0 to 12. Oh, is it gone up to 12? See, this is how out of tune I am with this. I didn't know it had gone up to 12,500. 0% tax, 0 to 12,500. 20% tax between 12,500 and 50,000 starting April next year. Oh, no. Oh, right. So it's not gone up yet. I thought it hadn't. Anyway, higher, Sue. Oh, not great, but still getting my teeth and bearing to do. Who does your accounts ads? I do my accounts, although I need to do my tax, tax return for this year. That's not... I keep putting it off. It's like November now. Yeah, it's going to be January, so I need to do it like the next few days, to be honest, and get that sorted. But, I mean, it's easy for me, because I do all my accounts anyway all year, like, month by month. I'm not one of these people who put it off to the end of the year and do it in like a 2-day period, because I just don't like doing that. I like doing it month by month. So I've got all that sorted, but I've not done the tax return. But I did the tax return late last year as well. So I need to, I need to get on that a little bit. Anyway, what time? Yeah, we're nearly getting to the end. Ads does his own cash-based. I do, yeah. Do you mean cash basis, Tom? I do, yeah, I do cash basis. Just, and then just do it, basically just do my accounts on a profit and loss sheet, and I have my little black book as well. And then I do, I get my, you know, my eBay and PayPal and Amazon FBA. What I do for Amazon FBA is I get the, what you call it, monthly summary report. Is it monthly? Yeah, it's monthly summary report, isn't it, on FBA? And then I just download them and print them off. So I do that, and then I do the PayPal, financial summary, I think it's called, because there's two reports on PayPal. There's a monthly financial summary, and then there's like a something else, like a financial summary or something. But I do one of them, basically the one that's like, you know, 2 pages, not like the one that shows all your sales. So I'll print that off, and then obviously I can get my fees and my transactions and stuff on that. Then I can put that into my profit and loss account, and then also I have my black book to record things as like a, I suppose you could say it's like a fail-safe in one respect. So if I were to lose my computer, I've still got the figures in my black book. I record all my postage individually in my black book. I don't record my sales in the black book. So yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a, you know, I don't have a backup for my sales, but they are on eBay, they are on PayPal, so I suppose you have got 2 different areas that your sales are in there anyway. And then, as I say, every month I print them off. So, you know, even if I were to lose, I couldn't access the data for whatever reason on eBay or PayPal, which it's just a what-if scenario, but if I wasn't, then I've got my, you know, each month up until that month, I've got them printed off anyway. So I suppose I have got a fairly decent fail-safe for that as well. So I've kind of got, I've got paper copies, and I've got kind of profit and loss account, and then I've got my eBay and PayPal and Amazon actually on the site, the data that's actually on the site. So I suppose I'm pretty well covered with that, but it always gets to this time of year, and I always think to myself, oh God, I've got to do the tax return. And to be honest, I think about it in April. Like, I think, oh yeah, I better do the tax return. And then I'm like, I'll wait a month. And then it's like May, and then it's June, then it's July, and then it gets to September, October, and I'm like, I really should do it. And then it gets to November, and I'm like, yeah, I better do it. And then it's usually like December I end up doing it, but I do it online anyway. And as I say, I have all the information ready, so it is just a, you know, a job just to input the information. And then obviously I end up having to pay my tax, which isn't particularly fun, but I have a separate account for it. So I have like a separate, you know, bank account for my tax, and I find that works really well. If you're not in that position, I would get yourself in that position, because what happens is it separates the money out. Now, it doesn't matter, you could maybe even have a separate PayPal account or something, just a separate account for tax stuff, because I just ignore it. Like, what I'll do is I've got a standing order set up to that account, and I just ignore it. Like, I'll just use that account for when I need to pay my tax. And it's brilliant, because then you start to think, oh, well, you know, I don't even need to think about saving money for tax. Now, of course, as the business grows, you have to increase that amount of the standing order, which I do to account for the fact that I'm going to be paying more tax. But essentially, it's quite a, you know, if you do it that way, it's quite an easy way. You know, you can just, it's kind of like a set and forget, like, that's going over there when I need to pay my tax, end of the year or whatever, or whenever I do my tax return and pay my tax. Then obviously I can just do that. I've got that account there. I don't touch that account. I don't do anything with it. And then, you know, obviously that's there. So I think that's a really good way of doing it, because then you're not having to think to yourself, oh, you know, I've got to save this money for tax and stuff. It just doesn't occur to me. It just goes over, and that's that, you know. There might be a better way to do it. I don't know, but that's the way I've kind of got to do it. Episode 150 soon. What is in store? I do have a... Actually, let me see if I can get this up. Sorry. Oh, no. Oh, I can't... One sec. No, you know, I won't be able to get it up. Sorry, I'm flipping between... Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. We're just going to flip between screens because it's funny, innit? Anyway, yeah, there we go. Right, we'll go back now. Okay. Sorry, I was going to do it then, but I've not got it loaded up on my screen. If you go, Ryan, to my previous sales update, and you look at the start, well, basically just play the video. At the start of it, there's about 30-second trailer for what is going to be coming for Thursday Talks 150th. Don't know where I'm at. Thursday Talks 150th, and also there's going to be there's going to be an adventure, let's say, a small little adventure, only a very small little video, a small little adventure video, and then there's going to be a Christmas song. I got roped into doing that by Mel, so you can thank Mel for the Christmas song. However, there was a lyric in there, right, and I just want to get this out there now, because I know someone's going to pick it up on the video, right? So I want to lower your expectations just a little bit, just a touch. Still a pretty decent song, but there was a lyric in it, right? In the I nearly ruined the surprise for you there. But there was a lyric in it in one part of the song. I'm not going to reveal what it is, but in one part of the song that I actually had to remove because I didn't quite like the sound of it. It just sounded a little bit not particularly right. I don't know why. I listened to the song back a few times and I thought people might take that lyric in a certain way that then may lead to me just getting a load of slander for no reason. So what I did was I had to go on, but I had edited the song at this point. I had done all the editing for the song. So I had to go back onto Audacity to then change the actual audio track of the song to remove the lyric and then try and clean up the song, because obviously the audio track is split into two. You've got the actual me singing the lyrics and then you've got the backing track, right? So if you were to take out, right, like the audio, just the lyric of me singing, and then obviously you move the track forward, the actual backing track, because you've sung it in line with the kind of the melody of the backing track, the actual audio of me singing it sounded like really weird because it wasn't matched up to the melody of singing it, right? So what you have to do is you have to take out both the section of the backing track and the section of the lyrics. But then what you get when you clip it together is you get a little bit of an off-tune part. It sounds like the song's broken up essentially just for that second. And I was looking on YouTube at all these different things with Audacity, and like, I don't know how to, clean this up. And I was going through all the audio effects on Audacity. I was reducing the noise. I was doing the equalization. I was doing the auto tune. I was doing everything I can to get this thing cleaned up so that then the song was a bit more fluid again. And I just couldn't do it. I was going through everything. I managed to reduce it down sufficiently so it's not terrible, but it's still not perfect, and that really does annoy me. And I know someone's going to pick up on it, so I did want to just reveal that at some point in the Christmas song there is going to be just a little hint, and I know now people are going to be listening for it anyway, so if I hadn't have said it, you might not have been listening for it, but I just want to make that, I just wanted to make you aware, because it annoyed me. It annoyed me because I want to perform for you guys, to give you guys the best experience I can with the skills that I've got, and I couldn't do that, and that's what annoys me. Seriously, that's what annoys me. And I want to just say that. But we've got a Christmas song, we've got a Thursday Talk special as well, like a song special, and then we've got another little adventure thing as well. But go to the sales update, Ryan, and have a look at that trailer. I will be promoting this quite heavily, so you might get sick of seeing that trailer, so I apologise, but I need to get the word out to people. People need to see this, it's something. People have got to see this amazing thing. No, it's not really that amazing, but no, I want people to see this because I've worked on it a lot. I've actually taken, last week, I took 5 days, or 3 or 4, well, basically to do the filming and everything, it was like 4 or 5 days. And this is like we're doing no listing, like 4 or 5 days, no listing, straight editing, filming, etc. 5 days, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Trying to get things right, and that's 50 hours or so that I've spent on these 3 different things. So I do want people to see them, because if they do see them, then it'll kind of make it feel, to me personally, it'll kind of make it feel a little bit more like it's been worth doing, because no YouTube creator doesn't want to get certain views on something they've spent a lot of time on doing. So yeah, I will be promoting it. I'd be very grateful, as I said in the sales update, if anyone else could you don't have to promote it or anything for me, but even just talk, you know, maybe you have a friend on Instagram that's also a reseller that you talk to, and maybe they're not aware of myself. You just talk to them and you just say, oh, you know, this guy's, you know, I watch this guy on YouTube, da da da. He's also a reseller. You know, he's got this thing. I don't know why I'm doing the text action here, but anyway, he's also got this thing out, you know, in December. Da, da, da. I'd really appreciate it if even just one person did that on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. You know, if you're in a reseller group or something, that'd mean the world. Because obviously word of mouth, I don't care what anyone says. Word of mouth is probably the best advertisement ever. If you've got a brilliant product, you don't even hardly need to do any advertising. Because if one person gets it and realizes, oh my god, this is a brilliant product, then they're going to tell their friends, and they're going to tell their friends, and it's just going to explode. So I honestly do believe that word of mouth is pretty much the best form of advertising there is. And obviously it's free as well, which is brilliant. So anyway, I'll leave it there. I know I'm rambling now. We've done just over an hour. I'll be back. I'll be back. What's that like? Is it Arnold Schwarzenegger that? Anyway, I'll be back very soon. I've got a couple of videos in the works that I need to do. And yeah, I'm just listing stuff at the moment. I'm listing a lot of Doctor Who figures at the moment. I'm really enjoying that. I don't know why I keep clicking my fingers. It's a compulsion. I'm really enjoying that at the moment, listing Doctor Who figures. So I'm sure you'll see more Doctor Who stuff in the sales updates, whether you like it or not. I'm just going to share them because I like sharing them in the sales updates. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I very much appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout this rather rambly episode. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. So I'll see you very soon, guys.